on a cold, rainy, and the sun is going down. It's 5 o'clock on a Sunday. Are we still in the afternoon? Is it the evening? What is that dividing line? I think it's right around 5 o'clock. Whatever it is, the Browns have lost again, 3-11. Not a surprise, though. I can't yell and scream specifically about the Browns losing. If you're a Browns fan or someone who's covered the Browns for a long time, there's a lot to yell and scream about when it comes to this franchise. Specifically, losing this game is not it. It was another bad performance, another performance where a team looked undisciplined and sloppy. The Browns lose 21-7. That's the final. Number of big stories out of this game. Of course, Jameis Winston throws 3 interceptions and gets benched in the fourth quarter for Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who averaged 2 yards per attempt and threw a pick of his own. Nick Chubb breaks his foot. What a season. What an awful 2 years in a row it has been for Nick Chubb after the great career. I'm so hoping he can bounce back next year, but after missing almost all of the season last year with multiple torn ligaments in his knee and missing the first bunch of weeks this season and then struggling this year, not surprisingly coming off the injury, not surprisingly considering the other problems on this team. Today, he gets hurt, and again, he was looked like he was off to a good start, 9 carries, 41 yards. The Browns actually ran it well today for the first time really all year. Jerome Ford had that big 62-yard run. Ford and Chubb combined 16 carries, 125 yards, which is obviously a phenomenal number. It's, about 7 yards per carry? But far from enough. The Chubb injury is just, insult on top of what's been an awful season. Patrick Mahomes was limping out of this game as well, if you care about such things. Hopefully he's all right. He didn't play a particularly amazing game. He only completed 50% of his passes, had 2 touchdowns, but it should have been 3. I thought that touchdown they gave to Xavier Worthy on a running play, I thought that was a pass, but we'll see if they correct it at some point. And we could see Carson Wentz quarterbacking for the Chiefs next week. Who knows? But the Chiefs are 13-1, and the Browns are 3-11. Browns, who were so great at home last season, have won 2 of their 7 home games and have just 1 left against the Miami Dolphins coming up in 2 weeks, a game that is supposed to be played on Sunday night, but I'm guessing that will be flexed out of there because who the hell would want to watch this team play? They are an awful team. They haven't won consecutive games all season. They've been poorly coached. They have played poorly. They have played with no discipline whatsoever. And it's sad, frankly. It's pitiful what the Browns have done. And if you go back to the end of last season, including the playoffs, the Browns have lost 13 of their last 16 games. Lost their last 2 last year, including the playoff game, and obviously 3-11 this season with 2 games to go. Last time they won a game following a win was 3 days after Christmas last year, and we're 10 days from Christmas this year. So it will be over a calendar year between the Browns winning consecutive games, and we're back to the dreck. That's what we're back to. For so many years, you fans have suffered. For so many years, we've all suffered watching this team, and I really thought that we were past these days. I thought we were past the point where the Browns were going to be the dreck of the league. And I didn't have the Browns going to the playoffs this year, but I didn't think they'd be a bad team. In fact, I thought they'd win 9 games. And that was a low prediction compared to most people, at least locally, on the Browns. Maybe we can't see things straight. Maybe Kevin Stefanski is not a good coach. Again, every time I ask, why is he a good coach, the first thing we all say is he's won 2 Coach of the Year awards. You see it there. For the first time since his opening day game as a coach, remember in 2020, he was the coach, and his first season, he lost his first game, won his second game, and he had never been under 500 as a head coach until today. Now 40-41. He is Jeff Fisher. That's what he is. A couple of decent seasons. 1 playoff win where he was not there. I believe in stability. I believe the reason that so many teams have had success, the teams that are successful, have stability, there remains I'm still not sure I'll be honest, I'm still not sure what the right answer is on Kevin Stefanski. And maybe it's just because I've liked him for 4 years for the most part. And I know how important it is to stick with a coach, because as long as the coach is decent, and I still think Kevin Stefanski's a decent coach, he has a chance to get better. But there's a lot of alarming things that lead me to the point where if Kevin Stefanski is fired, I can understand it. First of all, the season's been horrible. I have heard that, I've heard a lot of bad things. I can't about what's going on behind the scenes. Now, I do think a lot of the players, especially on the offensive side, like Kevin Stefanski. But I'll tell you this, Deshaun Watson was handled terribly. He was not coached appropriately. That's not giving him a pass. Trust me, Deshaun Watson's the worst quarterback in the NFL. And I know Mary Kay wrote an article that he's going to get another chance next year. And if Mary Kay is right about that, if they actually are going to give him another chance, then this organization is as stupid as I think it is. He's a complete bum, and he can't play. But Kevin Stefanski made it worse the way he coached him. Not calling him out in the locker room, which he has done with Jameis, which he should do with every player. I like the calm demeanor, but he's just too passive when it comes to these guys. And there's a lot of bad things that have continued. The Browns have been a penalized team. They've continuously been a team that's turned the ball over. They've continuously been a team that commits stupid penalties. How about that stat? Most turnovers in a game since '93. Guys, that's for just the Browns, I assume, right? Not league. That's a Browns record? You'll let me know. But, my God. Yeah, just a Browns record. Jameis turned it over, 5 times? I think he had 2 fumbles. Or it was only 4. I can't even remember now. I'm trying to I know I shouldn't just yet, but I'm trying to forget this game because it was pretty forgettable performance. Did not hit my my Bet Rivers parlay because Travis Kelce didn't get the yardage. Got easily the over on the Jameis interceptions, and the Chiefs obviously covered. Jameis. Oh, no, that's right. Nick Chubb lost the other fumble. Oh, it wasn't. That's right. Jameis did fumble, but it was recovered. He recovered it. It was Chubb that fumbled and James Prochet that fumbled on the punt. That was so early in the game. I already put that one to bed. What can I look at as bright spots? Not much. Jerry Jeudy had another big game. He's over 1,000 yards. He's played great since Jameis took over. Even as Jameis's play has tailed off, Jerry Jeudy has still performed at a high level. That's really all I can be excited about. Elijah Moore went back to doing nothing. 2 catches for -1 yard. Jerome Ford had a nice game. I give him credit, but he's not a starting running back in the league. We all know that. And on a day where Patrick Mahomes didn't play a great game, the Browns really have no chance to win. They never really felt like they were in it. Felt like the Chiefs were taking it easy on them in the second half. I thought the defense did a pretty solid job in the first half. I thought Grant Delpit played pretty well against Travis Kelce overall. Kelce only had 4 catches for 27 yards. Unlike the last time he was in Cleveland, he did not have a huge game. Neither did Kareem Hunt. 13 carries for 45 yards. But, there's not much to be excited about. As bad as he's played, I still think Jameis could be an option for next year as a bridge. But I don't think anybody wants to hear that right now because he's just been so awful with the turnovers. I love Sean King. I'm sure he'll have plenty of excuses this week why Jameis turned the ball over. But at 13 touchdowns, 12 picks is not going to cut it. It's not a narrative that Jameis turns the ball over. It's fact. It's one of the big reasons why they moved on from Baker Mayfield, like it or not. And Jameis just makes too many mistakes with the football. Right now, they have an old offensive line. They have a coach that I'm certainly questioning. I thought they finally found a coach, and now I'm questioning myself on it, questioning him. If there was an award for worst coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski would win it. I think he'd be the unanimous choice. Because, I guess, right? I mean, you put Zach Taylor on there. But all the other, you want to put, the other coaches that you put on there have already been fired. Leave them be. They've been fired. What's his name? Who got fired by the Jets? I can't even think of his name right now. He got fired so long ago. The other bad teams are teams you thought would be bad. But Kevin Stefanski, to me, is the worst coach of the year. He wins that award. Congratulations. And the Browns have been outscored by 117 points now. Only the Titans and the Raiders have been outscored by more. In the AFC. There are a couple in the NFC, the Giants and the Panthers. So the Browns are fifth worst in point differential. A defense that was outstanding last year has been trash. At times has been okay. Wasn't trash today. That's not fair. They were okay, but it's not good enough. And the offense, which had been sparked to life initially by Jameis, has come ground back down to earth outside of Jerry Jeudy. That's the only emergence on the offense. I mean, going into next year, what am I excited about? I have no quarterback to be excited about. I have no running back to be excited about right now. They may draft guys, but at the moment, no running back to be excited about. There's no up-and-coming offensive lineman that I'm excited about. Maybe you're excited about DeJuan Jones. I'm not. Or Zach Zinter. I'm not. I'm excited about Jerry Jeudy. I'm a little excited about Cedric Tillman. I know he hasn't played in a month, but I have some interest. Excited might be strong. I'm not excited about tight end. David Njoku's fine, but he is what he is. It's not like I'm expecting a big jump from him. And what do they have in terms of young players? They have almost nothing because they've drafted so poorly. Andrew Berry, again, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, should be fired. I feel confident in that one. Kevin Stefanski probably should be too. I've been hemming and hawing about it. Been going back and forth about it. I don't feel good about saying they should fire him, but I can't think of a good enough argument to not fire him. That's the problem right now. The only argument to not firing him can't be this alleged other teams would sign him in a minute. I just don't believe that. Or that he won 2 Coach of the Year awards. That's not it. Like, why did he win those Coach of the Year awards? The Browns had adversity and had some success. So he's done a good job in those 2 years, but the other years have been awful. And for a while, I was like, well, he gets the best out of all his quarterbacks. No, he doesn't. Jameis is not playing his best football of his career. Deshaun Watson certainly wasn't playing the best football of his career. Baker didn't play his best football of his career. Joe Flacco didn't play the best football of his career. Okay, Jacoby Brissett did for 8 seconds. Congratulations. He's no quarterback whisperer. I'm running out of things to say, to come up with to defend him. For Andrew Berry, I got nothing. His only decent draft pick is Grant Delpit. Martin Emerson and JOK, but JOK's got dealing with a serious injury. Martin Emerson stinks. Juan Thornhill, disastrous signing. Greg Newsom's a mediocre at best player. Was a first-round pick. Dalvin Tomlinson, mediocre draft signing or free agent signing. Ogbo Okoronkwo, mediocre at best signing. Who am I supposed to be excited about, folks? The Elijah Moore trade, bad. You ended up having to give away Amari Cooper because you pissed him off before the season. David Bell draft pick, terrible. The Deshaun Watson trade, the worst in the history of the sport. Pretty bad list right there. Not much to hang your hat on if you're Kevin Stefanski. And the Browns have the 6th pick in the draft as of right now. they, who knows? They could end up higher. I mean, I'm expecting them to lose out. Although I could, we'll see. They're at the Bengals next week. Obviously, the Bengals are playing better. They're 6-8. Dolphins at home the following week. They're not great. I mean, they could win either of the next two games. Bengals and Dolphins are both 6-8. And then you'll have the Ravens the last week. The Ravens probably have something to play for. We'll see. Ravens right now are a game and a half back of Pittsburgh for the top spot in the AFC, or a top spot in the AFC North. So I assume they'll have something to play for. The way the Browns are playing, they have the two nice division wins. They've had good success against the Bengals. I don't know who's going to play quarterback. Kevin Stefanski said after the game that they don't know. He certainly did not commit to Jameis being the quarterback again. How could he? So maybe we'll see DTR. But the odds of winning any of those three games, even against mediocre Bengal, the problem, the Bengals are mediocre, but they're mediocre because their offense is great, their defense is terrible. So that you split the difference, you're mediocre. But they're not gonna win that game. They're not gonna win any games with DTR. You never know. You play the game, but it's highly unlikely. And I guess it's probably better off, but I don't know if I have any faith in the Browns getting a draft pick right with Andrew Berry. The Browns have a bad owner, a bad GM, bad front office. They're focused on the wrong things. There's a bad culture in the locker room. Myles Garrett just said last week that there's dysfunction on the team. Got to find out what the hell he's talking about with that. The weird timing of Kevin Stefanski giving up his play calling. Injuries continuing to pile up. And what a shame, the Nick Chubb injury. That's a bummer. I feel bad for him, man. I really do. It's a bad franchise, and it's going to take heaven and earth. I don't even really use that expression, but because I don't. Well, whatever. It's just going to be hard for this organization to turn it around. They're right back where they were 10 years ago, when they were 0-16 and 1-15, and every year they'd win 3 or 4. I don't have to tell you about it. That's what we're back to here. That's what we're back to at this point. There's very little hope. You have a mediocre defense and a bad offense with no quarterback. No clear answer at quarterback, and a terrible cap spot. An owner who's a buffoon and trying to get a new stadium, let him pay for his own fucking stadium. I don't want any tax dollars going to his stadium. Never understand how people defend millionaires. Never make any sense to me. I'll never get that. Never in a million years will I ever understand that. Let's get to some fan reaction. I know there's a lot of frustration, folks. Where are we going to go? I'll start from here. Willie Moe, Browns made me sick again. No, I just don't go on right. I like to, settle down after the game for a little while. Let the guys in UCSS do their post game before I get going. I was not taking a shit again today. No, everybody's obsessed with my pooping patterns. John says, I think Kevin's a good coach and continue to be one, but I think this team desperately needs a hard ass. Lack of discipline and accountability is ridiculous. DePodesta needs to go. Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't feel like Kevin's a bad coach, but he just doesn't feel like he's got control of this team. Mr. K, Stefanski, Berry, whole coaching staff need to go. They totally shit the bed again. It would be good to start over. Good God. Unfortunately, if you got fucking Jimmy Haslam. Truth hurts. Bull, you got to bury Sean King when he goes on Wednesday's show. Listen, when Sean showed the replays of the 2 interceptions last week, he was right. But the interceptions keep finding Jameis. I'll see what he says now. I just don't see it. Tapster says fire Berry and Stefanski now. Matt says defense played pretty well. Yeah, they did all right. They're not special, though. They're not special. Wish we could fire Jimmy. GameCube Fox, easily the worst non-0-16 season. And I thought 2019 was depressing. East Cleveland Chiefs Youth Football says the stadium was empty at the half. It was empty at the beginning of the game, it looked like. Bill P, last year was a fluke. They played a bunch of nobody quarterbacks, got a ton of breaks. There's some truth there. Mr. K, Bull, if Browns go 3-14, in your opinion, should Stefanski and Berry be fired? I think yes. I think Berry should definitely be fired. I'm still so hesitant on saying Stefanski should be fired, and I'm not sure why. Tesla, what coach can they get better than Stefanski? No one. Really? You have facts to back that up? Everybody's so sure who's good and bad. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a number of coaches that would be better. I mean, he's been here 5 years, and the team has won 1 playoff game. Just because that's better than what they did before doesn't mean it's good enough. Zach Taylor's been with the Bengals the same time. He's won a lot more playoff games. He's gone to a Super Bowl. I want him fired. D. Yates, time to put another quarterback in. I'm not hating on Jameis, but he's not it. Just put someone else. Matt says the quarterback situation imploded this year. Last year they overachieved. N.H. Kente, Bull, can you talk about the owner being a crook and a criminal along with his douchebag son-in-law? Always brings me much needed laugh after another embarrassing display like today. I mean, it is what it is. His company got raided by the FBI. The son-in-law is yeah. I mean, the son-in-law's my experience. My one interaction with him, he came off as a real douche. You make me say these things. It make you. I shouldn't be saying these things. These things are not good for my career, but you bring them up. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Let's see. Michelle says they probably think billions of dollars for a brand new dome stadium will make them play better. LOL. At this point, all they should be getting is the clowns and make memes out of the disaster season. Yeah. A few weeks ago, I referred to the team as the Cleveland shit stains. That's really what they are. It's disgusting. Atlanta Dave, no discipline, no accountability. East Cleveland Chiefs youth football, both talking straight facts, not fangs. Z says, I'll cheer for the Steelers before I cheer for a Watson-led Browns team again. All right, does that only be our 2 options? Tesla, we all know Watson is trash, so you want to bash him in the media. What does that do for the locker room? Ownership needs to pay the groundwork this offseason and let it be known Watson won't be the quarterback. Yes. I'm not sure what you're saying there exactly. East Cleveland Chiefs youth football. Since we've been back in 99, we have 19 double-digit losing seasons out of 25. That's just crazy. Michelle says the clowns sound better. Joseph got to trade Jeudy. It's the only bright spot. That's one of the few good moves right now, looks like, for Andrew Berry. I was all worked up that he signed him, but the contract looks good. He'll probably complain and want an extension. Michael, what is worse, Watson bouncing passes or Winston being colorblind and throwing picks? They both stink. Average Joe movie show. Ward is still good. He is, but he's hurt all the time. Tony, Kevin will get fired next year when we go 0-5. See, that's the problem. Part of the reason I'm leaning towards Kevin Stefanski getting fired now is because if you start over with a new young quarterback next year, to bring Kevin Stefanski back, he's going to be on the hot seat to start the season. And then if they get off to a bad start, he's going to get fired. And now you have a rookie quarterback dealing with a coach getting fired and a new coach that wasn't part of the process of drafting him. And that's kind of why I'm leaning that way. Matt says, G. Bush and Sean King going to have some words. Gary, no Taylor Swift attending today? No. Michael says, Stefanski sucks. Front office blows, and we have 6 total football players. Oh, my Let's see. No, I'm not reading that. I won't not read much, but I'm not reading that. Wayne says, Bull, what game did you watch? The defense played well enough to win. Okay, fine. I said the defense was okay. It was mediocre. They played all right. What are you going to have a fucking parade for this defense? Fuck the defense. They haven't played well enough this year. They've had some decent games. I'm not going crazy for them. Glover says Kevin is trash. Matt says Eberflus worst coach of the year. Doug Peterson a close second. Okay, fine. Kevin Stefanski's right there with him. Eberflus has been fired, so I'm taking him out of the mix. Glover says he stands there with his arms crossed, does nothing. Wayne says the Browns need to get better everywhere. That includes coach and GM. Let's see. Atlanta Dave, between salary cap hell and poor coaching, 2025 will suck. Wahoo fan, the Bull speaks the truth. It's a hopeless situation. Owner is going to bring back Berry and Kevin. Watson's coming back to compete. If that is, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, I'll tell you, next year. And as you know, nobody was more excited than I was when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, because I'm sure many of you heard me on the air as the news broke. And now I don't want to ever look at that guy again. Atlanta Dave, bring back John Dorsey, please. We were just talking about that last night. Street Vision FX. Miles got to leave this bad organization so he can win a Super Bowl. Gary says, put in the third string quarterback, Z something. Doesn't even know his name. Bailey Zappi is a major slappy. Mike, Chubb should have sat this season and healed. We weren't going anywhere. Amatora, defense one-dimensional. Schwartz is a known commodity. Is what you get. It's worth considering someone else. Wahoo fan, 3 games left. Time to tank. Burn the tickets. BK Brown, no excuses, Bull. Watson is gone. It's Watson's fault. Well, nobody said this game was Watson's fault. But if you're one of the 18 people still defending Watson, I don't know what to tell you. He's a bum. Nah, don't blame me. It's not my fault he's a bum. BK Brown, you think it's my fault that he's a bum? Pink Buddy ENT, any coach that drafts the quarterback is going to be in the hot seat regardless. We haven't hired a good coach since Stefanski in a very, very long time, so let's go hire the next Freddie Kitchens. Ooh. Grass and Bass, I don't trust Kevin or AB drafting and developing. Sawmill guy, I hated Watson from day one. Tribe, go Cavs. Amatora, Watson is not seriously starting. They have to do PR. They can't come out and say Watson is butt, and he's riding the pine the rest of his contract. Broken Arrow, feel like Miles got poked in the eye. I think that is what happened. Josh, I think a new GM is more important than changing coaches. Hire Vrabel as GM. What? Josh Potter. If this is the Josh Potter that used to work at 92 through the fan, you're out of your friggin' mind. BK Brown, you wasn't excited about Watson the player. You were excited about the story. Bull is a paid liar. BK Brown, you are full of shit. You're a dumbass. You're just a dumbass. I don't know what to tell you. Spreading lies. Not that anybody's paying attention to what the fuck you got to say. Grass and Bass, I will not buy another ticket as long as Kevin is coach. Young Duck, we have to start over. Mike L., when we fired our offensive staff, season was over. That was such a dumb move. I don't understand why they fired. The team had a surprising good season. They fired the whole offensive staff. How stupid. Panther, I'm letting the fans' comments be read. I did 22 minutes, and now I'm letting the fans' comments. Well, you got to be an asshole for. Pal May, it's a full rebuild, and you got to trade assets for draft picks. All right, that's all. So now you're happy there, Panther? I got no more messages to read. The Browns don't have a ton of assets to trade. We'll see in this offseason if they do full rebuild and Consider trading Myles Garrett. Consider trading Jerry Jeudy, frankly. If you're going to do a rebuild, you might as well trade him coming off this season. I don't think they're going to go in that direction. I think they can turn this around quickly. And in the NFL, that can happen. But it all starts at the quarterback. They got to figure that out. And it's hard to have a lot of faith. And there doesn't seem like an obvious answer at the quarterback position. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means it doesn't seem likely right now. All right, thanks to everybody for joining me. Thanks to Z and Max for producing. Thanks to all of you for watching. I'll be on, I'll have a podcast on Tuesday. I'll be live with Dustin on Thursday. And I'll be back on after the Browns game against the Bengals next Sunday. And I'll be on UCSS all week, including tomorrow, so check it out. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.